Hello everybody, it's Seb Sternik here and welcome to this YouTube exclusive. Yes, this is a press review and it's a video that only you, the YouTube subscribers, can see. We're not going to be sharing this on Twitter or on Facebook or anywhere like that. This is just a bit of an exclusive video for anybody looking at our YouTube channel, a video that you're not going to see anywhere else. And what's the point of it? Well, I'll tell you when. We're going to have a look at couple of magazines here. We're going to have a look at some newspapers and see what's making the headline, just like a normal press review on the BBC News channel or the Sky News channel. Just, you know, having a look at what's been making the news, what's been making the headlines. Just discuss a few things maybe that you might find interesting about the Women's Rugby League business. So let's begin. I think the best place to start is obviously with the latest edition of the Castleford Tigers magazine. Now, guess what? I don't have, unfortunately, don't have the latest edition with me yet. I will get it soon. But I don't need to. I know what's in it. I put the content together and I can tell you a bit about it. Obviously, this is last month's edition. The new edition has Mike McMeekan on the front cover. And the main point is that it includes a Q&A with our very own Lacey Owen. Now, if you're a fan of the Castleford Tigers women's side, you'll know that Lacey Owen has been out injured for the past few weeks since that Leeds game. We still don't know when she will be back. We're still waiting for results of tests and things like that. But while she was in training, you know, she was just sitting down, as everybody else was actually training. She was just sort of sitting there. So I thought, Lacey, let's do a piece for the magazine. You know, just a bit of a Q&A, and I just wanted to speak to her about, you know, about some of her goals and ambitions. Just generally life in general for a women's rugby league player, but she gave a lot more than that. You know, she spoke really well, and she really hit home on a couple of issues. She actually stopped me halfway through and said, "Seb, I need to clarify something," and I was still okay. Lacey, what are you going to clarify? And she said there are a couple things, and the first of all was the recruitment behind the Castleford Tigers women, the recruitment this season. She said a lot of people have put Castleford's success this season down to one thing and one thing only, and that's great recruitment. That's what everybody seems to be saying this season. And Lacey tried to go on and explain in the Q&A that the success is not because of the recruitment. The success that Castle so far enjoying, and let's hope it continues, but she said the success that Castleford are currently enjoying is because the team has put 2.5 years of effort into this. This has been a journey. This has been building for 2.5 years. It's not that just Castleford went out and got these superstars and put it together. No, this is a team that has been building and building and building for 2.5 years. That's the point that she was trying to get across. Now, I'm not going to give you all the details of what's in the Q&A. You'll have to get the magazine for that. I'm sure media will enjoy that one. You'll have to get the magazine to find out what, the full extent of what she was saying. But she was really passionate about that. You know, I think she felt a little bit, maybe, dare I say, offended that people are saying that the success is down to simply one thing, and that's recruitment. And she was saying in that Q&A, that is not true. This has been in the pipeline for 2.5 years. You know, we started the first Super League. The first ever Super League season was made up of 4 teams. And we won 1 game from 6. And we finished rock bottom. The second season, so the last year, we obviously improved. But we only brought in 3 players. Only recruited 3 players. And only one time this season, and that was in the last game against Featherstone, did all 3 of the new players play at the same time. That was the only game where all 3 new signings played together in one game. That was the only one occasion where that has happened. But anyway, some very good points, very passionate points made by Lacey, which I was taken aback by, but it's there in the Q&A in the magazine. And another point she made was with regards to Castleford Tigers women playing at the Jungle. And she was basically saying that the women's side was not just giving it for the sake of headlines. The Castleford Tigers women was given the opportunity to play all the home games at the Jungle because they earned it. That's what she was trying to say in that Q&A. And you know, she was saying after our first season, in the first ever Women's Super League, the one where we won 1 game from 6, where we finished rock bottom, the season after that, so last season, we only played a few times at the Jungle. We spent most of the time at the Rugby Union ground. But as we progressed and got better and better, we won a few good games, and we reached the Challenge Cup final, and we reached the Super League semi-final. I think Castleford and John Wells up at the top realised that perhaps they do earn an opportunity to play at the Jungle. And I think Castleford will start benefiting financially as well from us being there. Not majorly. I mean, as many people will say, we may be enjoying big attendances, but we're not charging much. Season ticket holders getting for free. If you're not a season ticket holder, you're only paying £3. And if you speak to me, who knows how much you can get in for. But anyway, yeah, we're certainly working on making the experience a lot better. There's a lot of things we have to learn. We've got a lot of volunteers, but all the volunteers that we have are working almost like full-time professions. It's not easy for them. We're pushing them to the limit. And I know sometimes people say there's not enough bar staff. There's no burger van, unfortunately. That's not down to us. That's down to the Castleford Tigers, the club. And maybe if we could keep pushing for it, we will get it one day. But as Lacey said, we had to earn our spot at the Jungle. It was certainly not given to us, and we'll have to earn anything else that we get. You don't get given anything for free in life, and she made that point really clearly. Elsewhere, I've got the 4020 magazine with me, and inside the 4020 magazine, quite near the front actually, which I was happy about, because normally the women's stuff is near the back. It was near the front. I'll tell you now which page it is. Page 8, sorry. Page 8 and 9, you'll get to read all about our trip to Perpignan to face the Tigresses Catalanes, and also a similar piece in the Rugby League World magazine. But that magazine was £4.50, so I only got the 4020 one because it was a bit cheaper, £3.75. But never mind that. Both magazines have great coverage, obviously, of our Catalan trip. It's a shame that it's in this edition of the May and obviously the June editions, a bit, from my perspective, it may be a bit late, old news, as they say in the business, not relevant anymore. But still, it's a nice story. So we can't be sniffing at media coverage. We'll take anything that we can get, especially from a 4020 magazine, especially from the likes of Rugby League World. So both magazines have interviews with Lindsay Anfield. The Rugby League World one also has one with the captain, Claire Garner, who's really a colourful character, and she really goes on into details about that trip to Perpignan, and some of the experiences that we gained from that trip have been second to none. Yes, a lot of negatives. When we were 45 minutes from kickoff and the fixture just changed. First, they wanted us to move to a different ground to protect the pitch for the men's Super League game because the state of the pitch wasn't great, and Callans could have been in trouble if the men's Super League game was played on a pitch that was in really bad conditions. So they wanted to just move to another ground, but we down to Lindsay Anfield and a few of her friends, we managed to think of an idea to play after the men. Obviously not ideal for the fans, which was a shame, but we travelled. It was over 1,000 miles round trip. We didn't make that effort just to play at some side ground with no audience. We wanted to play at the Stade Gilbert Boutus, a historic stage. That's what everybody was working for. That's what everybody was looking forward to. And only us, the Tigresses Catalanes also wanted. I think that was their first game at the main stadium. They were looking forward to it perhaps more than us. They were really excited to play for the first time at such a big stage, and so were we. And it was really nice of the Catalan Dragons to let us play after the men. At least we got to experience the stadium, which was an absolutely sensational ground, and what an experience it was. But that little change, 45 minutes to kick off, everybody's in kit, everybody's prepared, everybody's mentally ready for the game, and then suddenly you switch off. What do we do? And I remember, and Lindsay Anfield goes on to say in both magazines how we turned up in the square where all the Castleford fans had gathered in Perpignan, and they gave us a welcome that I think nobody expected. It was one of the most sensational scenes I've seen in my lifetime. A women's rugby league team, going into the square, and the place exploded. simply exploded. I have not seen anything like that in my life, and I don't think I ever will again. And I credit to Castleford fans for that. And I think that was so good for the girls as well, because everybody was sort of disappointed about what had happened, and social media had exploded once the game was postponed. I think the postponement was the best thing that could have happened, because then everybody was talking about the HRL trophy. Before, nobody had a clue what that was, and now suddenly everybody was talking about the HRL trophy. It's being postponed. You know, what's happening? And then we come to the square, get a massive ovation. Now everybody's got talking, and when the game kicked off, all these messages on social media. What's the score? What's happening? Who's won? All that interest, because it was postponed, because the timing had changed. So controversy does indeed create cash. Controversy creates a buzz, and it worked in our favour. But incredible memories, and you can go back and read about it in the 4020 magazine, also the Rugby League World magazine, in stores at the moment. Some really good interviews. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a press preview if we didn't look at the Pontefract and Castleford Express. Week in and week out, the Express provide us with some incredible coverage. I mean, look at this. This is a four-page full of women's rugby league news, Castleford news, which is fantastic. And well, I'm not surprised, because this is news to be talked about. The first bit talks about Lindsay Anfield receiving the President's Award from Andy Burnham, being the first ever recipient of that award. And then you obviously got the story about the record crowd, 1,148, the biggest crowd that Castleford Tigers women have ever had at home, and well deserved as well. So a couple of these good stories, and you've got to be quick, because on Thursday was going to be some the next edition of the Ponty and Cass Express comes out. But if you want to read all about the President's Award, all about the record attendance, if you get the edition now, it'll still be there. So this week's Ponty and Cass. I've got to send our thanks to Tony Harbour and the team at Ponty and Cass for giving us such great coverage. And you know, it's not easy for space in the media, because especially in a paper like this, for example, you've got Featherstone Rovers, who you know, so much is going on at Featherstone Rovers with the likes of Dane Chisholm at the moment, and the whole team, and that victory over Bradford, and then obviously Castleford Tigers, so much to talk about as well. Big upcoming game against Huddersfield Giants, obviously a lot of coverage on the Magic Weekend, the disappointing Magic Weekend, unfortunately. A lot to talk about, the future of Darragh Powell, the future of the likes of Greg Minikin, Luke Gale, so much to talk about, and yet they've managed to give us a full credit to Ponty and Cass for that. Well, that is the end of this press preview. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've given you a bit of an insight into what goes on here. A bit of some interesting content anyway, and it's exclusive, live on YouTube. I'll try to bring it. I'll try to make this a weekly, if not you know, every 2 weeks maybe, something live exclusive for the YouTube page. So if you're subscribing to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see this and perhaps even more. We'll try to get some more content on here as well, exclusive live content, because I know we post a lot of stuff on Facebook, and there's a reason for that. It's because it gets watched the most on that platform. It's easy to share, people watch it more than they would do if it was just on YouTube. But we'll try to sort some stuff out for YouTube as well, try to grow all our platforms, and thank you very much to you, the fans, for sharing all our stuff, for liking this stuff, for getting the word out there. Without you, there wouldn't be us. Without the sponsors as well, I have to give a shout out to all the main sponsors of Castleford Tigers Women, because they do a sensational job. Without them, there's no us. Without a combined effort of everybody, there would be no us. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a pleasant evening or day whenever you are watching this, and hopefully see you soon, and hopefully see you on Thursday, and when we play against Bradford Bulls at Odsal Stadium. If not, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time when we play Bradford again at home in the Challenge Cup.